All right, guys, I'm not going to start this again. It's midnight, and we are on rain delay for the Cubs game. So before the Cubs get playing again, I'm going to do this recording really quick. It's not a long lesson. This is over Unit 4, but it's lesson number 19 for English 10. Obviously, I'm not here. This is a YouTube video. Before I get started, there is some Unit 3 extra credit. There is a survey. Look below the video on YouTube, and there's a link that says Unit 3 extra credit survey. Go ahead, pause the video, and go click on that and take the survey. Push play again when you're ready. I'll wait. All right, so you're back. Welcome. So here we go. We're going to get started. A couple of changes I want to talk about. After looking at the schedule, I realized we were pushing way too fast. So we had done 13.3 and 13.3 again over the unit test Tuesday and Wednesday, and I realized 4.1 needed a lot more time. So we're going to go over 4.1 today and on Friday. So I expect you to do the 4.01 quiz on Friday. If you already took it, it's okay. You have 3 chances to take quizzes. Don't forget that there's 2 extra credit opportunities that you just did the first one, Unit 3 survey. All right, and the Unit 4 clause worksheet will come at you at the very end. All right, so a lot of extra credit coming at you today. New schedule starts Monday. Don't forget, we are 2.08 right here. Oops, I clicked it too soon. 2.8 right here. We'll meet 9:30 to 10:30 and then have small group right after that, Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So just a reminder, be there. All right, so Unit 4, the beginning of it, we're just talking about clauses really, but here's an introduction to the whole unit. The medium and genre of a work can affect its meaning, and I've underlined the main ideas of the unit. For example, a poem's form and structure interact with its language and themes. Whether an experience is presented in a memoir or a short story affects what readers take from it. So we'll be talking about mediums and genres. We're going to talk about poems, memoirs, short stories. And to strengthen your writing during this unit, you will use independent, dependent, and noun clauses. And that's what we're going to spend a lot of our time on today. Okay, so our objectives after this lesson today, your I will statements. I will differentiate between independent and dependent clauses. Differentiate just means to be able to tell the difference, okay? I will identify and punctuate noun clauses. Great. I will use clauses to convey specific meanings and to add variety and interest, preferably in your writing. I will show these abilities by completing and mastering 70% of the material on the exit ticket, which is the extra credit at the end of this lesson. Okay. Clauses. If you look over here, some clauses can stand alone as sentences and some can't. By deliberately using and combining clauses, writers and speakers make their words clear, effective, and interesting. There are 2 main types of clauses, independent and dependent. Okay. It is helpful to understand the difference between a phrase and a clause too. So before I even jump into the clauses, let's talk about that. So I'm taking a step backwards. A phrase is a collection of words that may have nouns or verbs, but it does not have a subject doing the verb. Okay? The following are examples of phrases. Leaving behind the dog smashing into leaving behind the dog. Smashing into a fence. I seem to be typing too fast. Before the first test. After the devastation. Between ignorance and intelligence. Broken into 1,000 pieces. Because of her glittering smile. In these examples above, you will find nouns like dog, fence, test, devastation, ignorance, intelligence, thousands, pieces. Lots of nouns there. You also have some verbs like leaving and smashing, but in no case is the noun functioning as a subject doing a predicate verb. They're all phrases. Okay. Now, a clause is a collection of words, that's similar, that has a subject that is actively doing a verb. The following are examples of clauses. Since she laughs at diffident men, I despise individuals of lower character. When the saints go marching in. Obadiah Simpson is uglier than a rabid raccoon because she smiled at him. In the above examples, we find either a noun or a pronoun that is the subject. Notice subject is red and bolded, attached to a predicate verb in each case. So, since she laughs at diffident men, She is the subject and laughs is the predicate verb. I despise individuals of low character. I is the subject, despise is the predicate verb. When the saints go marching in, saints being the subject, go marching being the predicate verb. Obadiah is the subject, is uglier than rabid dog, is your predicate verb. It's also a weak verb. Be verbs are weak verbs. Because she smiled at him. She being the subject, smiled being the predicate verb. So you see here, we have verbs and we have subjects doing those verbs. So that's what makes it a clause, not to be confused with phrase. All right, so now we're going into just clauses. We definitely know we figured out the difference between the phrase and the clause. Now let's talk about clauses. There are independent and dependent clauses. There's also other ones, but we're going to focus on these two right now. If the clause could stand by itself and form a complete sentence with punctuation, we call that clause an independent clause. The following are independent clauses. I despise individuals of lower character or low character. Obadiah Simpson is uglier than a rabid dog. We could easily turn independent clauses into complete sentences by adding appropriate punctuation marks. We might say, I despise individuals of low character, or we might write, Obadiah is uglier than a rabid dog, or rabid raccoon, excuse me. And you can see here the correct punctuation. We call them independent because these types of clauses can stand independently by themselves without any extra words attached and be complete sentences, be complete thoughts. We understand that without any extra information. Now, a dependent clause must have a subject doing a verb, but they have a subordinate conjunction placed in front of the clause. A subordinate conjunction means that the clause can't stand independently by itself, and it needs more to be a complete sentence. Instead, the dependent clause is dependent upon other clauses, or another probably independent clause. It can't make a complete sentence by itself. It's lonely. It's a dependent, even though it has a subject doing a verb. So here are some examples. Since she laughed at diffident men. When the saints go marching in. Because she smiled at him. These clauses simply do not form complete thoughts or sentences by themselves, not complete ideas. Those subordinate conjunctions like since, when, and because cause the listener to expect some extra information or material. The thought is incomplete. If I walk up to someone randomly and said, because she smiled at him and then walked away, they're going to be left thinking, well, I don't know what the rest of that idea was. All right, so it's when you leave someone without, it becomes a dependent clause. All right, now let's talk about noun clauses. Now, there are like adjective and adverb clauses and things like that. We're just focusing on noun clauses right now. So we talked about independent and dependent clauses. Now, they even get broken down even more. Rule. A noun clause is a dependent clause that acts as a noun. Okay, so it's not an independent clause. It can't stand by itself, but it acts as a noun. A noun clause can sometimes be replaced by a single noun. A noun clause is always a dependent clause, never an independent clause. A noun clause can perform all the functions of a single word noun. Okay? Noun clauses are usually not set off by commas. And noun clauses typically begin with certain introductory words like that, what, when, where, whether, who, whoever, whom, whomever, whose, and why. Lots of words there. Usually those clauses will start with one of those words. Okay, so I've gone over all this information and it's time for you to show me what you know. So what I did is created a pretty hefty worksheet. Okay, what I want you to do now is go to 4.01. You can see it over here. And go to review. Before the quiz is under assessment, go to review. Once you get there, you're going to see 4.01 Burman created extra credit. This is worth 30 extra credit points. When you click on that, what you will see is a Word document that says complete this. Open it, do the work, and then submit it there. You will resubmit it right there. And I will grade it for 30 extra credit points. Okay, so you have two opportunities for extra credit. This one's 30. And I believe the survey is out of 10. So you have an opportunity for 40 extra credit points today while I'm not even here. So go ahead and jump on that. If you have any questions, email me and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good day.